Welcome everyone. Great song by Lenny Kravitz with Slash. Slash is playing with, it's either a cocked wah or what they call an envelope filter pedal, which gives you that cocked wah sound. So when I say cocked wah, you turn your wah-wah pedal on and you leave it at a specific point. Just like Whole Lotta Love. Page turned it on and left it all the way down, so you got that real trembly sound for his lead. Slash is using this a little bit more in the middle of the wah, but closer to the floor, if you will. So with that said, we're going to go over both Slash's parts and Lenny's parts, which really, honestly, Lenny's parts makes this song also. It's funky, it's got a great groove that he's playing underneath Slash, and we'll go over that. Not real hard. Solo's a little bit difficult. Slash kind of goes off, but we'll go over all of that. Of course, I've uploaded my notes. The link will be below the video there, so you can download it. It's all in my notes. If you want to follow along with the notes or the lesson here, we'll get started. All right, so for this intro, what you're doing, Slash starts with a slight pick scrape up to about the 12th fret, and then he continues it on with his fingers down the fret. Then we're going to hit the open E string, all right? All right, that first measure of the intro, which is really prominent throughout the song, both these measures, even though it's the intro, this will be the verse and into the chorus. So what we're doing, we're kind of pedaling off this open 6th string, but it's palm muted, so it's a slight, it's not a, it's just a, so it's slightly palm muted. So we're going to hit the open 6th string, slightly palm muted to the 7th fret of the 5th string, and then we'll move to the 5th fret of the 5th string, sliding to 4. Then we'll hit that palm muted 6, back to the 5th fret of the 5th string, back to the muted 6th. All right, so far. And at that point, you want to be in the 5th position. Pull off from the 5th fret to open, and then hit that muted 6th string, and then end up on 7 on the 5th string with some vibrato. All right, so we have this. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first half of the measure. The second half, again, we're going to start out riding on that open 6th string just like we have, and begin just like we did earlier. And then the 6th string to the 5th of the 5th string. And then we're going to hit the open D string to a D note on the 5th string at the 5th fret. And we pull that off to open. All right, so we have this for the second half of the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go to the 6th string at the 3rd fret and pull off to open. And then end up on 5, hammering on to 7 on the 5th string. Alright, so you have... So let's go over the full measure of the intro. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that, again, just repeats and repeats and repeats. The guitar underneath it, we'll go over that next. Guitar 2 for the intro does this, and then I'll show you what we're doing. Alright, so what Lenny's doing there, and I've turned my guitar volume down so I don't have as much distortion. I added compression so all the notes will ring out more true. We're going to hit 5-7 on the 4th string and 5-7 on the 5th string. And you want the chucka between. He's doing a funk rhythm, okay? Alright, so you just want to get that going. Now you're going to come back to the 5th fret of the 4th string and then back to 5, hammered onto 7. Alright, so we have this. Alright, and then we're going to do 2 more 5-7s on the 4 and 5. And then we're going to do this chord. Alright, so we're going up to an E ninth. Alright, we're playing on the 4th string at 11, 10 on the 3rd string, and 11 on the 1st and 2nd. As you hit it, slide it up to 12, which is your E ninth, and then 3 times. I should say 2 times for a strum. So it's a down, up, down. But the down gets you the slide. Alright, so all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that is consistent underneath slash. And it's great because they're about equal. It really sounds good when he's doing those chords. So we got that consistent. Now we're going to work into the chorus, which is basically working out of our lick into a couple of chords. Alright, so the pre-chorus, as I've written out in red, is really the lick that we know. The first half of the measure is exactly the same. We're just going to stop shy on the 5th fret of the 5th string before we go into that. Alright, so take it from the pre-chorus, which I've got in red. First half of the measure is simply the first half of the intro and verses and so forth. Now we'll change it just slightly. Alright, so what we're doing, after we hit that 5, we're pedaling on that 6 to 5. We're going to hit an open E quickly to an F sharp and then a G chord. That's an E, open 6th, 2nd fret of the 6th to a G chord, and then an A chord. Then we're into the very first half of the measure. Back to a G. And onward. Alright, so for the pre-chorus, let's take it from the pre-chorus into the chorus. We'll do it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continues on. Alright, so let's talk about what Lenny's doing at the same time during the chorus. So during the chorus, what Lenny goes into is this. Alright, so basically the first half of the measure is the same that we know. The second half of the measure, instead of going into the chords, he's going to go 5-7 on the 4th, 5-7 on the 5th, back to the 4th string at 5 twice. And then 7 pulled off to 5. So we have this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, the rest is the same. So we're going to continue on. One more lick with the chord this time. Alright, so that's the chorus for what Lenny's doing. Now, I want to talk about the alternate lick that they do, or Slash does, during the second and outro. It varies. So the alternate lick that Slash is doing is during the first measure of the intro, what we're doing. Alright, what he does instead is this. So basically what we're doing is just like the intro. After we stop on that, we're going to do a 6th string again muted, and then we're going to hit the 7th string with a bend up and release, or pull off. I should bend up, release, pull off to 5, and end up on 7 on the 5th string. Alright. So it'll sound like this. Alright, and then the second half's the same. Another alternate, I didn't write this out, but you could just slide it up to from 7 to 9. Alright? Those are alternate lick that he adds in during the second verse and really towards the outro. So we'll go over the solo rhythm next, and then the solo that Slash does. So the first measure of the solo rhythm starts out like this. So what we're doing there is we're going to just do that chord, alright, instead of sliding into an E, we're going to do it at a D ninth. Alright, so we'll be at the 10th fret, 4th string, 3rd string at 9, and 10 on the 1st and 2nd. And it's more of a down, up, down, up. Alright, and then he starts in with the 5-7 twice, 4th and 5th string. The first time when he does this, he does that bend, that 7 up, bent, pulled off to 5. And then we go to the 5th string with a pull off from 7 to 5. So we have this. And then we do the second half real similar to what we've done. Alright, now it changes. This gets, again, we're underneath the solo, so Lenny's just playing some funk. So I'm going to go all the way through it, and then I'll tell you what we're doing. All right, so that second measure starts out on the 4th string. Most of this is on the 4th string. We're going to hit the 5th fret twice, but with a little slight pause between it. And then we're going to hit 4 3 times, and then 5. We'll do that again. All right, so we have this so far. Then he does a quick 4/5, then a slow 4/5. And then there's a little bit more of a pause, and then you're going to hear 5 twice, a slight pause between. And then you'll do this. All right, so we're going to hit 4/5, and then we're going to go right to 7 on the 4th string, hitting 9, back to 5, and then 7 on the 5th string. So we have this. The second part of that is he's going to do a little bend on 7, back to 5, and then the rest of that. All right, so we're bending 7, slight release, then hitting 5. Then we go 7, 9, back to 5 on the 4th string to 7 on 5. All right, so we have this. All right, so the last part of the lick, he does kind of a walk down. He's going to go 7, 5, and then 4, 5 on the 4th string. And then he's going to come up to the 5th string, goes 7, 5. All right, so that ends the second measure. Let me take you through that second measure slowly so you can see how this fits together. If you listen to this, Lenny is panned hard left. Slash is more in the middle to the right, but Lenny is panned hard left. So we have this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last measure is just like what he normally plays. 5, 7, 4, and 5. And then are back to 5 on the 4, then hammer on 5 to 7. Then back to 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 5. And then our, it'll be D sharp to E 9. Let's take the whole solo rhythm together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I hope you, again, if you listen, hard pan to the left, you'll be able to follow that with my notes. We're going to go over the solo. Okay, the first half measure of the lick will sound like this. All right, I'm going to stop there. What we're doing, and now I'm taking this from Mike Caswell. Oh, God rest his soul. What a wonderful teacher on Lick Library, if ever you've had to watch him. They have this video uploaded, the solo from Always on the Run that Mike taught, and unfortunately Mike didn't teach this one very well. But I used that to pick out what he was really talking about, slowed it down, figured out the notes and so forth. But God rest his soul, I love that guy. So to start out with, we'll be on the 5th fret of the 6th string, and then we're going to pull off from 4 on the 5th string to open and 5th fret to open. catch 7 on the 4 to 5 on the 4th. Alright, so we have this. Then we're going to come back to 7 pulled off to 5 and do that on the 5th and 4th string. Then we'll come back to 7 on that 4th string to 5 on the 3rd, back to 7 pulled off to 5. Then we go to 7 on the 3rd string bent up. That's going to be the first half of the measure. Alright, so all together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, at that point, we're just going to hit the 5th string of the 3rd fret to the 4th string, pulled off from 7 to 5, back to the 3rd string, hitting 7, 5, landing on 7 on the 4th, back to 5 on the 3rd. Then we'll do a pull off from 7 to 5 on 4. Alright, so we have this. Then we're going to do that 7, 5 on the 3rd string, back to 7 on the 4th, and 5 on the 3rd. And then pull off 7 to 5 on 4. Alright, so there's a little pattern after this, alright? Or this is a little pattern. So let's start it out. Again, we'll bend the 7 up. Then we're going to end it by pulling off from the 7th fret of the 3rd string to 5, and then hitting 7 slid up to 9. Alright, so we have this. Again, I'll take it from 7 bent up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that's the first measure of the solo. After that, we're going to move up to the basically the 12th position and go from there. Okay, the next measure of the solo will sound like this. Alright, that's the first half of that measure. So we're going to take we'll be at the 12th position, we're going to take the 2nd string at 15, bend that up, and then we'll pull off to 12. Then we move to 16. I'm using my middle finger. We're going to bend that up and then hit 16 unbent to 15, 14, 12. Then we go back to 14 bent and 14 unbent to 12. To 14 on the 4th string. Alright, so that's the first half of the measure of the next. So we'll start out 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, we're going to bend 14 on the 3rd string up, catch 12, and then hit 15 pulled off to 12. Almost a Chuck Berry lick there, alright? Then we're going to catch 14 bent up to 12 twice. And we'll bend up 14 and hit it unbent to 12 and 14 on the 4th string. Just lay your finger down, catch the 3rd at 14, back to the 4th at 14. Then we go 12, 14, 12 on the 3rd string. Alright, and that kind of finishes out the second measure. So let's take that whole second measure again together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next part of the solo moves to the 7th position. We'll do this. Alright, so what we're going to do is bend up the 2nd string at on the 10th fret, catch 7 unbent on the first string. Then we'll come to 10, pulled off to 7. Then we're going to take the 3rd string, do a pre-bend, hit 9, pull off to 7, and then hammer on to 8. And catch 7 on the 1st string. Kind of a blues lick. Then we'll take 10 and slide that up to 12 on the 2nd string. Alright, so that whole next half measure of the solo, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the next half of that measure of the solo, which almost takes us to that real memorable part of the solo, we'll come up to 17. Alright, we'll do this. Alright, so we're going to come up to 17 on the 2nd string, bend that up, hit 17 unbent, 16, 17, 16, 17, and then 17 bent. Alright, so together slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so let's take that whole next measure together. We'll start out from that 7th position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so the memorable lick will start out 15 to 12 on the 2nd string. That's kind of like the intro, and the rest of it is what you really recognize. We're going to take 15 bent up, and then hit 12, and then 15 to 12 on the 2nd string again. So start it out, and then this. And then again, one more time, once more. And then we're going to hit 15 and pull off to 14 and 12. End up on 15 on the 3rd string, 12 on the 2nd to 15 pulled up, and release to 14 and 12. Back to 15 and 12 on the 2nd. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that's not up to speed, but you get the idea. You know, Slash really jams us out, and it's quick. The final measure of the solo will sound like this. Alright, so what we're doing, we're starting out with the Chuck Berry. We're going to hit 14 on the 3rd string, bend up to 12 on the 2nd and 1st string. We'll hit 15 pulled off on the 2nd string to 12. Then we're going to go to the 3rd string, pre-bend it, hit 14, release to 12. Hit 14 on the 4th string, back to 12 on the 3rd. And then we're going to hit 14 on the 4th string, pulled off to 12, and 14 on the 5th string, back to 12, and 14 on the 5th. And then when we go 15 on the 5th, we'll walk down. And then we end it on the 12th fret of the 2nd and 3rd string. Alright, so all together slowly, the last measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that is the solo. So when we get to the ending, I kind of wrote out one of the licks that Lenny does normally, and I lightened it up, but he would do his normal. end, he'll do the very same lick. But to end, he's going to start out on 10, and we'll do that for 5 times. Down, up, and then down, up, down. And slide up to 12 as you strike it. Alright, so that is the song. I really hope that helps everybody. Thank you for all your support and letting the ads run. It's helped me immensely. I appreciate all you've done for me, and hope you enjoy this.